我觉得，COMPLEXITY 他们是一个能创造奇迹的队伍，因为大家都觉得他们能力很一般，但是他们用自己的努力证明了自己，所以我个人是比较喜欢他们的。
We'll see if he still likes him a lot after an 80-minute game. Welcome back to the NA LCS. We're getting the Rift ready for our final LCS match of the day, Complexity versus LMQ. And with CLG's win there, LMQ have to get a win here if they hope to hold on to first place.
Well, LMQ did look very strong in their win yesterday against Dignitas. And on the same day that Complexity broke the record for the longest game, LMQ gave us our shortest game of the split, systematically taking down Dignitas in just under 26 minutes.
Yep.
The team was able to take an early lead when Ackerman was able to sneak into that top lane bush, unbeknownst to QtPie and Leech experience. And this is one of the benefits of LMQ actually keeping up with that Chinese scene. Their coach said afterwards, they watched it happen the night before in the LPL and then used it the very next day.
That's right. Use it up. LMQ is in a tie for first place right now, and there's no one in the NALCS that's more dangerous at taking down the top teams than Complexity.
Yeah, Complexity have made a huge turnaround from the start of this split. And a lot of that coincided with the acquisition of Kez.
Yeah.
Before he joined the team, Complexity were 1-5. But since joining the team in week 3, they are now 6-7. Or they're 6-7 since then.
Right.
Stats alone, however, do not tell this story. I have to mention an addendum. Not all of Complexity's improvement has to do with Kez specifically. Happy birthday. The entire team has gotten better, which is to be expected, since they all get this experience since joining the LCS. That's very valuable, and they get the ability to commit to League of Legends full time. Unlike LMQ, Complexity have found most of their success when they can stall, and they find themselves in the late game.
Late game indeed.
I do want to take a look at a graphic of the 8 longest games. This split, Complexity have been in 4 of them, and they are 3-1 in those games. So we'll see who can set the pace this game today.
Yeah, let's check out the starting lineup. Get right into our last game of Week 8 in the NALCS before Challenger Series. On the blue side, it's Complexity. In the top lane is Westrice. Happy birthday to him, as you heard that previously. Kez in the jungle, probably in mid. Robert at AD carry, and Bubbadub on support.
And on the red side, it's LMQ. Up top is Ackerman. In the jungle, NoName. Mid, XiaoWeiXiao, AD carry Vasilii, and support more.
Let's see if these guys have the plays to be made. And today's featured matchup will be rocket jumping down to the bottom lane for ROBERTxLEE versus Vasilii.
Yeah, these are the 2 main Tristana players in the North American LCS. Both of these players are undefeated on the champion. Vasilii has had his best performance on the Megling Gunner in both kills and KDA. Of the 4 Tristana bans, by the way, that have occurred this season, all of them have actually been targeted at ROBERTxLEE. And it takes a certain state of mind to confidently jump towards danger. Both of these 2 players definitely have it. So you can expect it will be a highly contested pick this game.
Absolutely. Whether or not it's banned out, we'll see if these guys force each other onto some uncomfortable things. But then for an AD carry, I guess, you got to play everything as an AD carry. It's different for like a mid laner when you're like this or that doesn't work. So I'm pretty sure they will be all right. But the featured matchup is going to be awesome to watch, especially last one of the day. Teams fighting for top spots in the league, and we heard what Vasilii himself was saying in the pregame. These guys can create miracles.
Yeah,
so they need to stop that.
Not only is LMQ fighting to get back to tying for first place, but Complexity are fighting to get that 6th place spot, which is really important for them. So the importance of it's of the utmost importance for both of these teams, even though they're at vastly different points in the standings right now.
There they are on your screen. There's the Trist ban coming out fast. Bubbadub and more. See Westrice, another ban coming in for Complexity, so we won't get that late game of Tristana. Somebody's going to be grabbing up the Kog'Maw. The Lulu gets banned out. The Kassadin stays. The Kassadin stays. Braum is the last ban in the game, and the Kassadin is blind pick for Brawley.
So all of the bans still in the North American LCS of Tristana have all been targeted at Robert.
Yep.
But man, letting Kassadin through, that is a bold move from Complexity. XiaoWeiXiao plays pretty much every mid laner under the sun, so we'll see what he pulls out. Last time, He tried a Pantheon versus Kassadin when they let it through, and that did not work out for them.
That was their kind of let's switch mid-stride game, though. They announced that. They said, it's a bad idea for us to change ideas right in the middle of Champions
Yeah,
Select.
one of those, what do we do to counter this? Attack damage. Pantheon's a guy that's very unforgiving if you make a mistake, so you definitely need to be well-versed and have that strategy before you get into Champions Select. If you want to pull it off.
NoName looking to be making calls from the Lee Sin position in the jungle. He locks that in along with Vasilei's Lucian.
Yeah, Vasilei's second love here. The most recent.
Yeah.
He's been a huge fan of Lucian ever since the champion came out. So no surprise that LMQ want to lock that in early. Whoa, Bast here picks from Complexity.
Yeah.
Get Kez that Elise. We mentioned last time Complexity played, huge fan of Elise. So even though Lee Sin is taken, he's not feeling bad about it at all. These are the two top junglers. Nobody gets really a huge edge.
Nami for more. What will be the choice? Seeing Ackerman looks like he's going to grab Gragas as he takes a swig of water.
Yeah, the thing that LMQ have to worry about is getting picked up. The strengths of Kassadin are in the chasing people down. You know, he's got teleport, or he could run teleport probably. He has in the past. And if you see a Kassadin coming in and getting those mid-game kills, he snowballs very, very quickly. Let's see, top lane Gragas is picked up for LMQ. So I guess they'll answer with a lane bully here. Renekton is still up.
Still have Kog'Maw.
And can hold his own versus
Yeah, I gotta
Gragas.
like that. Last birthday top pick for Westrice. Very nice. ROBERTxLEE deciding what to choose for himself. Even with the jungle picked, Complexity decided to take Elise after seeing that. So their priorities were for Elise Morgana.
Robertson.
They wanted to see a bit more.
If they went Vayne, I actually really do like the mouse over for Vayne for them, because then they would be pretty much all about chasing down in those skirmishes. But if they went Varus, they would obviously be going more towards poke. Similar thing for Corki. Mid-game spikes. As we said, Complexity love early game power. They pick really strong lanes in their last two pickups of these champions. So they're looking to try and weather the storm of any early aggression from LMQ, since that's what LMQ is known for.
Yeah.
Complexity going to try and not lose lane phase and then see what happens later. That's basically been the game plan for them.
Well, if they get it past 37 minutes, Kobe, they seem to have quite the record.
They do. They do. They have historically a very high percentage chance.
6-1 in wins after 37 minutes. Something like that.
Hey, probably has switched over to teleport too. So they're going to run double teleport, it looks like here, for Complexity. And with very strong early lanes and a strong early jungler, it is going to be about the first couple dragons here. Whichever team can control these dragons is going to get a huge boost.
Yeah.
Because both of them are well equipped to win that dragon fight. A lot of pressure going to come down to that early dragon positioning. As we saw again in the 80-minute game, Complexity controlled the first 4 dragons in that game successfully.
They don't make mistakes near the early game. They're the ones that are always going hard. Since Complexity's been in the league, they're the ones that always want that early objective. Before we get to the match underway, let's see who you guys are predicting to win over at LOLesports.com. The votes are in, and 65% of you have been given thumbs up over to LMQ for this match.
And remember, always keep voting on Twitter, and since these teams are responsible for the fastest and the slowest games in the LCS,
right.
Tweet us to @LOLesports and use the hashtag either 80minwinthe.dream, or if you think Complexity will win, then hashtag 20minthedream for LMQ.
That's right. We'll see who comes up the winner on that one. If the game starts going later, that vote's going to start to shift pretty hard. Or at least it should, compared to how history, if it repeats itself. We'll have to see. LMQ definitely not wanting to give up a game here, being one of the top caliber teams, but I don't know if a miracle happens. They don't have much of a choice, as Vasilii says. Locking down Bubbadub and ROBERTxLEE early will be imperative. That's where our matchup is featured, but we also have to keep an eye on Kassadin and Orianna in the mid lane. If Probably gets going at all, he's going to be a monster this game. We've been seeing him falter on Kassadin early and still be a monster.
Yeah, Kassadin, this is the reason why Kassadin rarely gets through, even in the current state after receiving a couple balance changes, because it's so frustrating. If something happens in the mid game, where he teleports maybe down to bottom lane or something, picks up a few stray kills. That's all it takes for him to use that small injection of gold to just get out of control.
And we begin. Complexity versus LMQ. COL looking to keep a bit of a spark going after their win versus Curse yesterday. LMQ's on a 3-game streak. They're looking to turn into 4 and stay at the top of the NA LCS table. Probably not, or I should say just rarely getting this pick in middle. See if he can carry the team.
Yeah, we will see how much pressure XiaoWeiXiao can apply to Prolly. Kassadin, it's gotten much easier for him to CS under his turret with the changes to his W. Auto attack reset and adding a lot of extra damage so that he can easily execute those minions. That coupled with everybody pretty much starting sustain openings on Kassadin, going with the flask plus additional potions means that he has more often than not been able to easily CS through the early game and just wait for his opportunity.
He is 1 and 2 so far on Kassadin, so this could even up his play on it.
Orion is a good champion to pressure him, though. He gets a
Shield
lot of
on
harass
shield.
down. Auto attacks plus Q movement in order to shove the wave. That means it's going to be important for Prolly's positioning. Stay away from those minions on his side.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. Standard lane's going to start out, so a lot of the pressure then is on junglers early because opens up the map for a lot of moves early. Lee Sin and Elise looking to make pre-6 movements to try and acquire first blood.
They'll be making their... Oh, man.
80 minutes to dream.
80 minutes to dream.
Out to a
Here
big start.
we go. It's already 2 minutes. We have another 78. Let's see what XiaoWeiXiao can do. We're talking a little about the jungle pressure, Kobe. It might just be easier for NoName to hit middle before 6 if they can. XiaoWeiXiao is known to have the better farm. He may be ahead in levels, and he may be able to take that advantage on Prolly in the mid lane. Prolly hasn't had the best results when he plays on his Kassadin, unless the team can get him going. It's just a must-have.
Let's see here how this bottom lane gets off to as well, because Robert on Corki wants an early lead, but if he's in range of a Thresh play...
in the world? What in the world? He's alive. He's alive, but that was huge. He just took 2 of those Flay passive shots from Moore. That was a huge chunk of HP, and talking
about watching Prolly's positioning, that was just a misstep by ROBERTxLEE right there.
Misclick for sure.
Because he wants to get his Q down to hit both members of LMQ. Forgot about his spot there, and Moore gets an easy Flay onto him, forcing him back really early. That's definitely big for a Lucian lane, because Lucian is no slouch in the early game.
Yeah, definitely a mistake. CSing within melee range as a ranged auto attacker. Slow going for the mid lane now. We'll see if this actually draws Kez down to the bottom lane.
Well, it's drawing NoName.
Oh, Prolly actually gets tripped up by the minion, so he's going to take a bit of extra damage. Very nice for the side of LMQ here to keep putting pressure on every lane. So far, they've only got something to work in the top now.
Let's see if he can make anything happen down bottom, because all the summoners were blown already on Robert.
Oh my gosh, they don't even have the ward either. They're trying to play it carefully.
They know that he just ganked mid.
Yeah.
So it was a good call from Prolly.
They're just counting it out.
Strong communication here for Complexity in the early game, because it would have been terrible for them. I mean, the lane is pushing. Robert and Bubbadub, if they were tunneling on this bottom lane, pushing up there without summoners on the Corki.
Does Kez play follow the leader, though? NoName comes down bottom, so now he does. Maybe they can catch some aggression off of LMQ thinking, hey, summoners are down, we can go a little harder. He starts to back off as well. Not wasting too much time, already back on golems. No lead for really any team yet, except for Vasilii himself in that bottom lane over Robert.
Right, and that is being balanced out by the birthday boy in the top lane, Westrice. Got a few minions over Ackerman, using that early game of Renekton. So, yeah, that increased experience range. NoName just getting a little sneaky EXP steal from XiaoWeiXiao. Might cost them. Level 5 Kassadin to 4 Orianna right here.
He's saying thanks. That's all right. He'll pick up the CS somewhere See if NoName continues to put the pressure on Prolly. We see Kez, right, going to be in the back pocket here for this, but
Prolly
maybe
still
too
has
late.
a flash.
There's no ward put down by NoName here, so he's not going to see Kez coming up right behind him.
Doesn't get the jump though.
Slow moving, very good control by both junglers to be on each other's tail or initiating a fight.
Yeah, and once again, Kez going with the same build he went last time on Elise. Going to Quill Coat into Ancient Golem.
Yeah.
Because he likes the utility build for his team. He wants to get as many
picked up so many wards
as possible. Quill Coat and Ancient Golem going to provide those to him. He also gets a Sight Stone on top of that. Bubbadub gets played in though.
Still getting pushed around in this lane. Bubbadub and Robert trying to trade back a bit of damage. 45 to 30 in that right now. Vasilii feeling pretty good about himself. Robert still waiting on heal and flash to come back up for their last engage. Vasilii did have to blow flash within that.
Yeah, uncharacteristic for the Complexity bottom lane. Robert losing in CS here. We'll see what route Vasilii wants to go here on Lucian too. Because Lucian is one of the most versatile AD carries. He can go Blade build, but much more popular now is the Infinity Edge start or Static Shiv quickly thereafter. Early armor here from Ackerman because he's facing Renekton up in the top lane as well, rushing the Glacial Shroud. So he won't start with the Rod of Ages that we've seen so many Gragas go for. Now armor is going to help him in lane in trading, but he will also miss out on the sustain from the Catalyst that builds into Rod, so more potions as well he's going to have to pick up.
It's pretty dangerous too if Prolly somehow gets going very fast. He's going to be behind on that prioritization of his items. Good control by Bub. Oh, he takes the ride with the lantern and NoName. Bubbadub does not have flash after that. They connected it with the Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike still following. Unfortunate for COL. Great play in first blood for LMQ.
Yeah, Bubbadub, he didn't immediately retreat after the hook hit him.
Right. Well, it looked like
he was like, aha!
That was the perfect false play.
It was like, I black shielded it. What you gonna do now? And Moore says, I'm still gonna take this ride. Whee! And he brings NoName along with him. Bubbadub is toast here.
Man.
Great play there from Moore. Lantern ganks, always the strongest way to go, especially with Lee Sin.
Outplayed
so much of his own mobility. Good focus bottom there because Complexity have been a team. Most of their wins come when Robert gets a good start.
And he's looking to still give that to himself. Buys a Xian to try and be able to trade back the same amount of damage here. That's risky as well. He's not going to have the health from the Phage or the safety.
Yeah, straight up BF sword for Vasilii is going to be a
huge spike.
Huge advantage for him in lane. Abilities and double shots going to hit much harder. So LMQ doing a great job recognizing the pattern in Complexity's wins, attacking that bottom lane strength very early, and pretty much neutralizing Robert here, especially since they took out the Tristana. The Corki's not going to be nearly the end game threat that they are used to having.
Let's see what the movement gives us now. Looking at inventories, we do see the Sight Stone in that bottom lane as LMQ was able to grab a good amount of gold off those first assists. Bit of plays that they had. So safe down there, we don't have to see NoName returning, but he has, knowing that they need to shut down ROBERTxLEE and Bubbadub even more. Westrice is fine in the top lane.
And I like NoName's pathing actually, because Kez is focusing on this hard farm, defensive, just warding Elise to try and ward all the river entrances for Complexity to keep ganks off that way. But he just went straight for a lane gank. There's no way Kez is going to sneak wards into the lanes this early on. And now, going for the early dragon here, NoName bought his own pink ward for this. So captain of the team making some good plays here, also some good smites to secure it. Kez was still off farming, and so he had to back to the base to regenerate. That ward up in the blue buff from LMQ doing some work for them.
XiaoWeiXiao getting all the CS he can always. NoName plays this style too. You can see, obviously, we said Kez is farming, but that 29 CS, he's focusing on snowballing the lanes, knowing that's, like you said, where complexity wins it. And he's always been okay with XiaoWeiXiao taking his farm, still somehow coming out even with the other jungler or on top.
Yep, and he will be content this time around too. Plenty of wards inside the LMQ jungle, though. That's the result of this Elise style play. So he will know, at least for now, NoName is up top, and Westrice can play accordingly. Not overextend too much. Both top laners building pretty defensively just for the lane matchup, so should just be shoving wars, and really the big difference is how well you get your last hits on these minions. It's a bit more difficult for Ackerman since he has to do it from range. Oh, not gonna get the cannon there.
Unfortunate indeed. Sometimes you just get nightmares about that. Watch it die in front of you.
Wow, he rushes the completion of Frozen Heart. Not even gonna go with the Iceborne Gauntlet. Interesting rush there because there's not a lot of attack speed based.
No, Corki's firing missiles.
For complexity. It's not like a, whoa, probably gets ulted in and the ignite.
That's different. Oh my gosh, the calculation. I'm just kind of awed right now by XiaoWeiXiao's play there. His understanding of the turret limit he needed. Yeah,
yep,
that was
exactly.
Great.
Probably just got schooled by XiaoWeiXiao there completely. Very well played. And he's got blue buff. Didn't even lose HP doing that tower dive.
That was so
not
clean.
Only does he get the kill, he gets complete tower pressure, forces Kez into lane. It's a huge relief for the other lanes of LMQ. XiaoWeiXiao doesn't have to roam to affect the other lanes in the game. Taking it over straight from mid and keeping that pressure up.
I've always wondered what Lomo meant. I think that was a pretty good definition right there. Great play coming out of LMQ so far. Confidence behind the players, and you can see.
So this play by NoName has been set up by XiaoWeiXiao.
Yep.
Because he forced Kez
Got
to the lane.
All the spiders. That's horrific. Kez must feel horrible. He'll be back. He'll have more spiders. No worries. They did get the 80-minute vote, so they'll be all right. 12 minutes into this one, Ackerman just throwing out some gas in the top lane. Bubbadub should stay safe here. They are going to try to close in onto NoName. Good ward clear coming in from LMQ. A little bit of a tight spot, but they still get what they want, and Vasilii is still farming 113 to 97 in that lane. LMQ making some good moves around the map. It's definitely complexity trying to adapt and react here to all of their gear.
Yeah, and LMQ showing them how they like to play the early game. It's been basically a difference of junglers here. NoName's so much more aggressive than Kez. The old ward-heavy style worked for him last time.
Keep drifting right into damage.
It's so hard to keep someone like Lee Sin in check, and NoName is constantly making moves here. Whereas Kez is stuck picking up the pieces. XiaoWeiXiao's out of mana, but he's got NoName at his back.
Probably, he's on like 3.5 rifts now. This is going to cost upwards of 900 or more mana for him.
This is the Q. That's going to be an escape for Probably. So
walks out.
Wasted flash there from NoName. That will curb his aggression a small amount. XiaoWeiXiao does not want to leave this cannon minion wave up. He wants to shove this before returning to base. And relying on that increased regeneration when he's low of the Athenes, he's able to do it.
Knowing his limitations all too well, making the plays look easy for himself. 1.6 thousand in the lead. They're able to hold that steady. Most of that gold is between mid and the jungle, which is exactly where they want the forces to be right now. Ackerman's doing fine in the top lane, holding off on Westrice with that Frozen Heart so far. And he's actually able to start getting that Negatron cloak in right away. Not even boots for this. This is a complete lane for lane purchase they got going on here.
Yep. And Westrice completing Spirit Visage.
Yep.
Helps him out quite a lot in this. Renekton does have a lot of innate sustain as well.
Throw sand in his eyes.
Jukes one barrel. Gonna mean it's an even sort of trade here, but Ackerman relying on passive regeneration here.
Look at that, with Drunken Rage up, he's hardly doing everything, even with the W on, doing multiple strikes.
Remember last time we saw Westrice go full tank, so...
Yeah, well, yeah.
These plays, not gonna hurt too much for Ackerman. And he'll probably be able to go whatever he wants now. Full tank for Ackerman so far too, though. what he's planning with this build, because when it comes to team fights, looks like they're pretty much just going to fully rely on the XiaoWeiXiao Vasilii combos for the damage. Ackerman going way more towards the utility Gragas style, which definitely falls off hard late game.
Both teams thinking the same thing. He's going to be able to execute more precisely. Looks like nobody. The sweeps come out, and they feel like 10-second wait is what they want here for Dragon. Good clear. Pink ward goes down, and LMQ gains a little bit more pressure. They also have Ackerman on the rotation. He's not going to need to teleport, so they're getting something out of this. Whether it's going to be Dragon or turret or both. Nice influx of gold coming in for LMQ.
Westrice has his teleport available, so LMQ can force at least a teleport advantage here if they make Westrice come to the Dragon. See if Complexity make the call to stay at the turret. Remember, this is a full tank Renekton. Can't do a lot of damage quickly to the turret.
Yeah.
So Ackerman might even be able to defend it there. Yeah,
what a
no
great
answer.
play. Mid turret was prepped for damage. Even if Westrice got that, they were still behind on trying to come back for what was taken. So LMQ setting too many things in place and making the dominoes fall. Westrice taking a little bit of damage in the top lane, but after that, they're pretty much hitting each other with the wet noodles.
Kassadin coming in though. Yep, he's leaving. Just kidding, probably. They don't want to go for that dive.
Maybe? No, he finally left. Slow moving, but Complexity is trying to get some kills for themselves. Get Probably going.
Is he going to take it again? That's way too close to a turret. Bubbadub could flash him into the turret, so more with a very smart move there, not to take the death sentence this time around.
There's no forward ward coverage for Complexity either. They're playing very lax in that bottom lane. Just one ward in the river. The control from the brush has been what is winning LMQ this lane. And
oh man, Robert
there
right
it is.
Into the face.
Woo! Robert gets that ward. These guys are playing dangerous.
Yeah, Robert's antsy now. Knew that there was a possibility and a good ward able to keep him safe. But that being said, Complexity, it's looking pretty bad for them, honestly, with their team. Really, they have to rely on something happening around the next Dragon.
It's kind of a not much has happened, but that's the thing. They need their team to be ramping up.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Right.
Probably here needs to be a big factor for this team. Because Westrice, again, is going full tank. It looks like at least he'll have the slow burn of Sunfire pretty soon.
Great dodge out. The binding. Wow, and the return fire coming in. Probably, or rather Vasilii getting a crit on that auto attack. Maybe the safety coming in here. XiaoWeiXiao blowing his flash for a rift on the side of Probably. Almost getting the kill there, but this just shows the domination. Two members pushing off just XiaoWeiXiao in the mid lane.
Westrice is getting pretty deep, and he's got three members of LMQ coming up. Should be able to get back in time. Ackerman gonna try and stop him.
He body slams the slice, but not the dice.
They're going for the dive instead here.
Teleport to the bottom lane, so it's going to be action all over the place. Will they still decide to execute in the top lane knowing this is going on? Bubbadub gets hit up immediately. This means Probably is going to have to act right now. He's got the damage. He will come up with the kill. Probably eating the culling for breakfast on that one as Vasilii gives him every single bullet in the chamber. They come up with some very nice cleanup kills.
Yep. There's the move from Probably.
Westrice got it at top as well. He's somehow still farther.
Yeah. Complexity do get there mid-game. Kassadin rolling a little bit here, but you can see they check for Dragon as well. Still down. At least they clean up the pink wards. Flash in from Bubbadub to get the slows down, but what a lantern from Moore. Flash lantern. Won't save them, but they get an answer kill here. Bubbadub going down. Sadly for LMQ, it did go to Moore instead of Vasilii. Probably again. Oh, the Kassadin gets rolling. Will they give it to him? Yeah, probably another kill.
Complexity turning it on. The Force Pulse comes out. Bit of slow, but not enough after the explosive cask. They are able to get out alive. Complexity making up a lot of ground. Brings it within 1,000 gold now. Still looking a little worrisome if they can't open up the map pressure, though. Now, with Probably being bigger, he might be able to start a bit of that roaming we should expect from Castle.
What's worrisome to me is that both teams are really only going 2 damage sources, so it makes for slower games. Because both top laners are going to be...
You don't say.
Take a long time to kill, but not do a whole lot of killing themselves. Probably though, great news for Complexity. He's got a little bit of momentum here. See what he can do with it, because Rod of Ages for him is almost fully stacked. Only 4 more minutes for him. 24 minutes will be the mark to get Prawley fully charged up.
He can keep it going for the team. Like you said, if he gets more kills, LMQ is also putting everything in place to stop that. The Talisman of Ascension we don't see very often now, being built up by Moore for the extra chase on a Rifting Kassadin, on a Valkyrying Corki, and everybody trying to get out of the fight. So very good placement in his items by Moore. We'll see if the rest of the team can get on board with that. Keep the train rolling down the mid lane.
The other thing that this does to the game when you go with 100% tank top laners is that it puts a lot of pressure on the AD carries to have strong positioning in the team fights, because they cannot go down early. They need to be able to not only stay safe, but also continuously auto-attack throughout the fight. Whoever's AD carry basically stays alive the longest are the ones that come out ahead in these tank-heavy team fights that go off. A lot of importance put on XiaoWeiXiao as well for the crowd control that he will be adding with his Orianna.
Good turrets for LMQ to grab. They may be up in gold, but they're actually down in that turret control on the map. Well, Westrice, he's on an adventure right now. Like
does get some deep wards now.
Yeah,
so
he should be able to get out safe. Those two are never going to kill each other.
He can prep his split push. Him going with Sunfire Cape is going to help him out a bit in the long war that he's going to have.
Whoa, Complexity really wants something.
Over minions. Yeah, they want dragon control is what they want.
Right. They were looking for a good binding there.
Good prep here.
They can blow us up.
LMQ will not want to give this up, though. They'll definitely want to fight this. Yeah. See if they can do it. Wow, they get zoned out. Vision control too strong for Complexity. LMQ funneling through this very narrow corridor as well.
Westrice going to try to provide some birthday defense here for the rest of the team. Ackerman's in the front, hardly taking anything as he presents himself to the fight. Coming out of lane, he did finish the Spirit Visage. Very, very big along with that Frozen Heart for the team. They're back to mid, trying to clear down this wave.
Well, LMQ, or Complexity did need that dragon back in this. Grabbing the third one, very important for them to bring the gold back to even, but they have been zoned out from their mid lane. Again, they're calling for a split push. Well,
whoa, Westrice deep into the fight. Probably hasn't really rifted just in yet for the AoE damage. There's way too much. He does it right in front of the face of his opponents. Fearless probably goes in. The shockwave hitting on the end. He forces himself into the culling damage to make sure Westrice gets out alive. ROBERTxLEE doing what he can. First by Triforce, still not enough to take down second tier bottom turret.
So you get about half life on both turrets, but teleport's also blown for both top laners. Two-man defense here. Can't handle this turret though.
Good pressure. The ball just being placed enough to give Kez something else to think about. But
Robert's coming in for the flank. 4 versus 5 if they can catch up.
He's seen
just behind,
on the outside of that ward, so he's going to have to put quite a diagonal cut on this one to slice the pie. Getting the face of LMQ. He decides to not Valkyrie over the Wraith Pit. Very, very smart. They're going to go for mid lane because they have the push advantage now. Whoa! That's that pen build. No, actually, it's not the pen build. He comes out with a golem, and he's still coming out very strong. Prawley's there to answer. Don't think NoName expected that to happen.
Good job of Complexity. They're forcing the long, drawn-out retreat from LMQ so that they can take advantage of the mobility of this Kassadin. Probably finds himself another pickup. That Kassadin, letting that Kassadin through is so dangerous.
When have they not blind picked it? Just right off the bat. It's like they were testing Complexity.
Almost
every, you know what?
Almost every team.
They'll take the test. So far passing.
Blue buff is up for him as well too, so he can purchase his items first and then go for, well, he's going to go for the blue right now actually. It's really strong in Kassadin because he's fueled so well by Mana now after the changes. He can stack up a lot of charges on Riftwalk for extra damage.
People don't realize how much that actually starts to cost. It's a lot. You pretty much put yourself out of the fight in a few rifts if you don't use them right. Gold just about even. The first time LMQ has really been in the deficit end. Even picking up those 2 turrets quickly wasn't a big enough influx of gold with the last fight's complexity he was able to bring out. And Westrice, again, kind of has done his own thing. We've seen him multiple times far off in the jungle, getting wards down that are assisting complexity and making these long-range moves. It seems like they're kind of just scurrying, and then they take your turret after they push somebody's summoner spells off. Very coordinated. Coordinated chaos, if you will. It's like driving in New York.
We'll see if Complexity can find themselves any more picks. Because they're doing a good job spreading out LMQ. Whoa! And Brawley's going aggro on Vasilii. Zanya's active used for that harass.
Gets the calling out. Very nice. If they can get this minion wave pushed up to the turret, they lose a lot of clear. XiaoWeiXiao's half on mana. Ackerman can still provide some barrels, but he is not the ability power carrier this game.
What they've earned with this aggression is the red buff steal. So Kez draws LMQ away.
Wow.
And they actually come away with a buff steal anyway. The question posed by Complexity was, which buff would you rather have for LMQ? LMQ do choose the blue one, which is the better choice. But Westrice, happy to take that red away. I think they gave it over to Robert. And that will help them out in this siege.
Such an advantage to have somebody like Prolly on Kassadin. Fearless right now in his play style. He didn't even have a super good early game, but still makes it work, like we said, with the team. When Complexity can get around him and facilitate some of those kills, it takes off as it should.
Also, picking up the early Zanyas for Prolly is going to help out Complexity, because that is the hard engage if they want it. That's their main mode of engagement, because other than that, they just have to rely on the skill shots landing. The Elise plus Morgana that we go over all the time, being very long duration CCs, are, since they're skill-based, not reliable.
See everybody giving each other a bit of breathing room here. ROBERTxLEE obviously feeling safe on the front line with his Valkyrie, as we're going to see Prolly returning back down to the bottom lane. Now, does Complexity kind of give LMQ too much room to work around this, get more wards out? Because right now they're doing a great job at suffocating them after really being pushed back into their own base. Westrice somehow still holding that top turret after finding a lot of aggression towards him in the early game. He's been keeping the split push going as well. Complexity can go right to their 1-3-1 if they really feel they want to.
Yeah, they're keeping Prolly down there isolated as long as possible.
Oh, dear.
Dyrus, ever the student, always looking to increase his game knowledge. There definitely is a lot to learn here from Complexity. However, Robert himself has said that they don't even know what they're doing at times.
That's right. How do you control a team that has no tendencies?
Well, Westrice is going to shove top lane by himself. So
oh, dear.
Settle in, Riv. Settle in.
Go ahead and pop open another drink here. Dragon
Will they
started.
trade? Okay, so again, this is a full tank Renekton, though, so he won't be able to take that turret quickly. Oh, the hook onto Prolly.
Gets out. I'm sure his finger was hovering right over his Zanya's on that one, but it's going to go over to LMQ. 3 of 4 dragons in the game. Westrice doing what he can to the top lane. Tank necked in. He's going to be banging his head against this turret for quite some time. Actually, looks like he may back off to return.
Yeah, he might have got 75 damage done to that turret.
Too much credit.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Look at that.
Sizable chunk there.
Indeed. Underestimating Tank Renekton. But not too much.
All right. Teleports both up for the tanks up top as well. See if they can converge on a fight, because Westrice is looking to cut him off, but the team's not there.
Right
so
through.
Westrice has had, good dodge.
Oh.
He can get over a wall.
I was going to say slice through the wall. It would look so good. He throws the ult on, actually.
Right into Vasilii's
Says, bring it. 4v1. Westrice wants a birthday party right around the red and Baron buff. We're going to see if they get it.
Oh, Prolly!
NoName's going to get hit up. Probably takes him to the side room, tries to give him a little bit of what for. 12, he's gonna go down. Kez is gonna finalize this one. They're gonna continue the fight. More presents to be open for Complexity. Does Westrice get one? No, it's stolen from Kez.
Oh,
Give the guys some cake. They're gonna continue this fight as it looks like LMQ is running for the hills on this one. Westrice goes to the dive in. That's gonna be another rift just in a second. Gotta be very careful as the whole team is going aggro. Ackerman wants to get back over the wall. His flash is up, but is the range there? No, it's not. Baron now to be completed by Complexity. 30 minutes on the clock, and they take a 3K lead.
What a job from Westrice. Dodging skill shots, buying time for his team. Wow, XiaoWeiXiao steals the blue buff on
I don't
his
think he's
exit.
getting away with it. No, that dissonance. Oh, he got slowed.
How many stacks does Probably have on
One
his rim?
for one.
3 stacks.
Fight him. He's, oh my gosh. Yeah, he doesn't have any
He's
more
out of mana now. He's just
out.
got to keep track of him, though. Robert's coming in hot.
Uh-oh. We'll see.
Chase him to the ends of the earth.
9 going south Delta. We need to find where XiaoWeiXiao is. Can we get him on the right path? Do not have visual. Resighted bogey. They're not going to go for it. Unfortunate chase coast to coast. XiaoWeiXiao putting on the Nikes and lacing them up.
That blue buff steal from XiaoWeiXiao enables him to continually spam out the dissonance for extra speed, and he lives.
Wow.
Fight another day. However, the rest of the team went down. Let's not take away how big of a win that was for Complexity. Westrice.
This is ridiculous.
Dodge number 1. He buys time for the rest of his team to get there the whole while.
Everybody RSVPs from LMQ to this.
Yeah, everybody comes in. He even gets a good chunk of Vasilee's life. And Bubbadub flashing right into the center of the fight. Probably is really the big winner here, though. Huge chunk onto NoName, and then dodges the hook just barely. Goes back in with that important Zanyas. And able to finish up the rest of this fight.
Going.
Really, the key is XiaoWeiXiao is on the other side of the Baron pit for most of the actual fighting.
Yeah.
So LMQ were basically fighting a 4 versus 5 that whole time. And he comes in with a very late shockwave because he wasn't there for the most of the fight.
So it looks like
easily dodged.
Complexity has brought a bag of miracles this game, Kobe. According to Vasilii said it was going to work. They can create things that you will not expect. And right there, Westrice helps the team turn around a 4v1 situation. Bubbadub bringing out Twin Shadows to get a little more fight on.
I asked Westrice what he wanted for his birthday, and he said just not to die for 1 game. Just hasn't done it so far.
Look at that. He's doing what he needs to.
And he was the one who started that whole fight out, by the way.
Yep.
Full tank Renekton.
So far, he has his cake, and he's eating it, too. Not something we allow a lot of people to do, but he's deserved it today. Slow moving now for LMQ as they figure out where to regain ground. Everything is warded out in their jungle. They're pretty much resource depleted. Just Wraith is the only thing Vasilii can take right now. It looks like we got ROBERTxLEE catching up in that Farmville onto XiaoWeiXiao. 6K gold lead as well. They jumped up quick. That influx of gold is so hard to control when it comes like that.
I am just not sold on full tank Gragas. Not a fan. But we'll see if they can pull it off later here. He's not giving up on the build, that's for sure. He's going random and straight after.
We've seen multiple.
I don't know what attack damage he's so worried about.
And it's
just
not,
the Robert, I guess.
And it's not working if the fights go for long time either. If these extended fights happen, it's still Westrice being tankier, coming out on top with the use of his added health from the ultimate of Dominus. ROBERTxLEE taking a few shots for the better of the team again. What a man.
And I do like the itemization from Robert, the choice to go Infinity Edge after the Blade and Trinity Force. He wants to get the extra crit damage here because he wants to target anyone who's not Ackerman. The flaw of a full tank Gragas is that you can just ignore them, and Robert can go after whatever other target he pleases. Keep your eyes on Probably as well. I believe Probably will be completing a Void Staff with that Blasting Wand pretty soon here because he's going to need to start cutting through some MR. Nope. Death Cap. The MR, not really a big factor yet. Actually, nobody did build the Locket here for LMQ, so MR not really going to be a big factor. Goes for the Death Cap. Try and get that high burst onto Vasilii.
Yeah, featured matchup, ROBERTxLEE and Vasilii. ROBERTxLEE doing a very good
Westrice
job.
So sneaky here. And he makes his way all the way out. Deep in enemy territory, surrounded on all sides. gets away unscathed. He's had a lot of time to practice those escape routes too, because he finds himself deep in enemy territory quite often. Great dragon here from Complexity. That's what the full map vision control will give you, by the way. LMQ cannot venture out to contest it. 2 threats from LMQ. Not working out. They really need to get a great shockwave. If one of their threats is not in the team fight, we saw what happens. XiaoWeiXiao not able to add anything means basically only one doing a lot of damage here would have been Vasilii in that last fight. And now it's not enough to keep up.
35 minutes on the clock. Slow and steady wins the race here for Complexity. If they can keep pushing like they are, the 3-1-3 now set into place. If Kassadin, or probably rather on Kassadin, can keep that harassment to the bottom lane, they're not going to be really able to do much but spread themselves thin on the side of LMQ. 1:30 left on the Baron, so Complexity is more than happy to keep this going without any aggression. They're just going to get the waves in place.
They do shove up bottom. 1.5 minutes is a long time to wait for this Baron, but Complexity have said they have no problem with waiting. Probably even tweeted out he went to the bathroom before this game in preparation. Make sure he wouldn't have to take a bathroom break this time around. So he's ready, strapped in for the long game. Just gonna try and starve out LMQ. It's like Complexity are bringing their tactics from the 1200s or something. Like to cut off that supply line.
We're coming up on it,
starve out their
Kobe.
enemies.
We're coming up on the 37-minute mark. Complexity's record after 37 minutes. Hugely better. 6-1
Yeah.
after that 37-minute mark.
Are we gonna see that Super Saiyan after all, Riv?
We might. That takes another 34 minutes, actually.
LMQ trying to get vision back in their own red side jungle. I like that preparation by them. 30 seconds left on Baron. You need to have a clear path to Baron because you don't want to let Complexity get away with that.
LMQ looking to regain what they can. Find out most of their jungle is gone. Sharing everything right now. The buddy system is imperative for LMQ. Obviously not getting much out of just soaking up experience with each other, but the safety is really what they're concerned about. Somebody can be picked off by Prolly. Well, they don't really have the vision to be going alone.
We're way past 20 minutes to dream. So anybody voting for 20 minutes to dream still is
yeah.
Tough luck, guys. That is no longer an option.
It's not. Not indeed.
Go! Oh, he splits!
Oh, nope. No good. So they at least know what the direction of 2 members are, knowing that there was a ward being placed by someone sneaky up in the top side of the jungle.
Yep, we got somebody on the radar here.
NoName
Probably goes in.
Getting hit up quite a bit as they start to control. Look at this. As soon as Complexity feels like LMQ has gained an area, they say, wait, there's wards here? We want to take those back. Westrice again starting a fight by himself in a pretty one-sided situation. The rest of the team's coming in. Bubbadub just gets completely deleted from the map. That was huge damage coming from the team.
Yeah, Vasilii can take matters into his own hands. Big 5 versus 4 power play from LMQ now. They turn their heads towards Baron. That's risky. Maybe they'll just get top outer turret. 4 versus 5 in this situation. It's only the support that's down for Complexity, so it's still a risky play for LMQ to go for Baron. Yeah, just looking for the top outer turret, maybe. Wow, they don't even get that. So 1 kill on a support, that's it. Not a big change.
This turret still stands. Westrice's birthday turret still up. 8-4. Looks like Prolly's now going to take control of the top lane as Westrice, with his teleport up, now takes the 1-3-1 split push to the bottom lane for himself.
Oh,
Complexity just playing textbook right now, but they're not getting any further just yet. The base seems to be a diamond-plated wall that they can't get through at this point. Let's see what they bring to cut through next time.
Yeah.
Taking some time, though. Taking some time.
They're working on their tech, Riv.
Yeah, that's right.
Takes
I
a while.
gotta get to upgrades.
Man, I should have taken a note from Prolly for this game. I didn't learn from last time.
Too much tea. 40 minutes on the clock.
All right, Super Tank Wars down in the bottom lane have actually come to a stalemate.
You don't say.
Yes. And Westrice shall recall. You know, the last item here, or the next item for Ackerman does look to be at least a Void Staff, so he will at least be able to penetrate a little bit of the defenses that Westrice has been able to accrue. Oh, don't fight this mark this time. You gotta slow though. And a binding into a lantern.
Complexity fuels these long games so much. They have the lead, and then they do little things like, we got you in a binding, but we don't want to take it. We'll just make you back, and then we won't regrets on it. Now another few minutes passes, and LMQ feels a bit scared, and Complexity feels like they want to get another binding just to scare LMQ.
You know what really is the biggest factor in these games? Who's got the better ergonomic setup for their gaming chair?
Yeah.
Really, you got to worry about throwing out your back at this point or something.
It's true.
You need to have the top of your monitor at eye level.
That's right. You can really mess up.
Your wrist should be same level as your elbows.
Don't float your pinkies.
No bending. Yeah.
Never float your pinky as well. Make sure that's touching.
Ackerman's going for a fight though. Black Shield stalls all action.
I think, oh my god, he goes to the back line. NoName so far into the Shockwave! Shockwave on to Bubbadub. He was the only one that got hit there. He goes down though. LMQ is trying to turn things around, and they just put the iron down onto Complexity for a quick fight in the mid lane. COL has been dictating everything until now. When LMQ turns it on, that's when they get the lead.
Westrice answers though, gets 1 kill for the team. That might be enough for them to hold. It doesn't look like the inhibitor turret is gonna be what they can hold though. Probably comes in. Ackerman getting pretty low. Remember, that's a full tank Gragas though. Not an easy target. NoName and XiaoWeiXiao, probably the ones they would go after. Probably is on the chase.
They're gonna turn around.
It's just him and Westrice though. Risky play here.
Oh man.
Vasilii takes half a hit.
Back and forth.
That is pretty big though.
Close.
Inhibitor turret going down, having at least an opening in the base.
Yeah.
Is very, very big.
Honestly, at this point,
for the LMQ
about
team.
6,000, 7,000 gold down, LMQ should not have been able to find that fight.
Yeah. I will never second guess Ackerman ever again. Started that one out beautifully. And NoName was able to get in, even though he wasn't able to kick Robert into the rest of the team straight backwards. He kicked him sideways
so let's watch
into the rest of Robert's team. So Ackerman starts it out, and they get the black shield. NoName, great job. He uses Prawley just to get to Robert. Since Prawley has the black shield, kicks Robert sideways into the rest of the members of Complexity to get the knockup. And great job for LMQ to clean up. Westrice does answer with the sneaky flash slice dice.
As sneaky as a giant alligator is.
Yeah.
He comes in, he chomps down.
Dragon, though, for Complexity, buys them more gold with which to stall out the game.
Rylai is coming out for Kez here. Very interesting in his build. Gonna have to make sure that might want to get some damage mitigation in there besides the Locket of the Iron Solari. Vasilii very big now, sitting on 4 items, but so is ROBERTxLEE in that matchup of the AD carries for our feature today.
I think a big thing here for Complexity, they're not used to having Corki in the games where they go super late. Corki is not a very good champion late because he needs both forms of penetration, spell for all his abilities, and attack damage for all of his auto attacks. So it spreads him kind of thin towards the late game.
Well, they're looking to get a little bit more help from Westrice on some of that penetration. He does have a black cleaver finally within that build to Renekton on his tank.
Vasilii getting pretty close here.
Yeah. It's a dangerous, dangerous game for him. No Triforce on Vasilii means that they're not crushing down these objectives, or structures, I should say, too fast. I think LMQ is going to be going somewhere towards Baron. They have the right inkling on that one. Teleport is up as probably goes to the bottom lane, so remember that.
They've got a couple ghosties here on the way too, but
those ghosties just saved their life, actually.
It's a really good buy for these games where Vision around Baron.
Whoa, Talisman of Ascension.
There should be a teleport here from Prawley, though.
Westrice was all right to do this last time. Izzy, this time, though, the team's a little too far away. That's a 70-second timer. Prawley with the Guardian Angel stays alive for just a few more seconds. We'll still be able to participate. Vasilii in a bad spot. So many shields and so many heals. Vasilii stays alive. They finish off the last few members of Complexity. Only 2 are left with 70 seconds average.
Oh, they can end this game here, Rim.
Could be the game ender. 7,000 gold down, 6,000 gold down. LMQ moves into the base after Complexity taking full control of the game. They put themselves into an unfortunate fight in the mid lane. Started off by Ackerman, kicked up by NoName, and it looks like LMQ is going to be able to stop going in. Really? They stop? What's going on right now?
Complexity had too many Guardian Angels. 3 members low from LMQ, though. Who's the next person up? 20 seconds.
Yeah, they're so long. They
got
can easily get this. Robert doesn't even have home guards on. He just buys them. Gonna come out of the base.
Robert,
does he have a big enough mop to clean up this mess right now? NoName gonna get hooked.
Oh,
no! Gets the hook. That's gonna be the game. The only thing that could not have happened. More gets that thread. He hits the death sentence.
And
that is
a hero.
The death sentence at 11-11. 45 minutes in, LMQ comes back to somehow take down Complexity. I've never seen a game turn so quick, having it be in the mid game so much and then just end. What? One fight in the mid lane. That's LMQ in a nutshell. They win a fight, they don't have ults, they don't have summoners. What do? They stay for another fight. They still don't have ults or summoners. Oh wait, they came back up, so let's fight again. Complexity was not ready for that, and that was the LMQ perseverance. When they think they have an inch, they'll take everything.
And I like how they just waited here through Ackerman's full tank build up until he gets the Void Staff. Soon as he gets the Void Staff, really big pickup for LMQ because they're able to shred right through Westrice, picking off the full tank. Well, he didn't even go full tank this time around, by the way.
Ooh.
He added in a Black Cleaver at the end. But picking off Westrice before Prawley's able to arrive.
Yeah.
Great move from LMQ, and my goodness, more at the end with the hook is such a hero, because if he hadn't landed that onto Robert, that would have been a defended Nexus.
Robert could have cleaned up there easily, really taking it into his own hands. In the end, the featured matchup, really Robert coming out on top, huge there. But the perseverance of staying in it when you're behind obviously goes to the winner. Vasilii comes out for the featured matchup in our AD carry kind of forte back and forth. And in the end, unfortunately, Westrice did die. So LMQ denies him his birthday wish. Unfortunate. And Complexity, still a team to be reckoned with. Unfortunately, as Vasilii said, there weren't enough miracles there. But they performed some crazy ones in the early game. We're not able to get Prawley his kills on Kassadin right away, but it was patience that led them to those kills. They controlled so much of the map when LMQ was scattering, and we don't usually see that from LMQ. It was hard for them to adapt to Complexity's situation.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about at the beginning of the day, where, you know, Complexity can gain gold. They can play the beginning of the game, and they do have several different strategies that they try and use. However, when they hit that roadblock with constantly having only 2 threats, not building a lot of damage, even if they get these leads, they can't do anything with the leads.
And I don't know if
they end the game with a gold loss. I mean, a gold lead and a loss.
Right, absolutely, yeah, for Complexity's side. Looking at, as we said, right at the end of the game, you made a huge point, Kobe, is that Complexity with Corki is not the late game Complexity. The ban on Tristana, I see the no choice of Kog'Maw against LMQ, because if there was a Kog'Maw, LMQ would be on you every second of the game. They're a team that dives your face. So that's even a hard pick to have there. But it seems like if Complexity goes that late game, they need that late game AD carry on ROBERTxLEE.
Yeah, seems like even just throwing their hands in with the Kog'Maw might have been a better choice.
Right.
Or we'll never know.
We will never know. Well, we have 4 more weeks. We may. Let's toss it down to Dash, who's on the winner's side.
Thanks, Riv. I'm here stage side with Vasilii and Sharon here to help us translate. Now, my first question for you, Vasilii, is that playing against Complexity, they've beaten a lot of teams in really long games. So was that ever a concern for you guys during this game that it was getting longer and longer and longer?
Complexity 这个队，他们打很多的队都会把这个游戏拖得很后期，然后我们这个游戏时间随着越打越长，对你来说，你没有担心过？
刚开始我有一些担心。因为我们前期很不顺，没想到他们后期对进攻的节奏把握比较差，就是拿到了优势不抱团，把节奏打得紧凑一点，然后 然后到最后拖到那么久，我们装备都差不多了，然后一波团直接把他们打败。
At first, I'm a little concerned because we fall behind. But in the mid game, when they get their advantage, they didn't really capitalize on that. So we were able to farm and build up our items. So when we get our advantage back, we're able to do the team fights and be able to win the game in the end.
All right, now my next question is, as the game progressed, you were playing Lucian. How do you feel about Corki versus Lucian and the way that matchup works?
在刚刚那场游戏里，你打的是奥巴马，然后对面是飞机。在你看来，这个对抗是怎样的？
我觉得差不多。因为他们对面有2个传送，所以我不敢打得特别激进。如果没有2个传送的话，我可以打得更激进一些，就不会只压了他10个不到。
I think it's an even matchup because for the opponent team, they have 2 teleports. If they don't have teleports, I will be more aggressive. So, yeah.
All right, great. Now the final question is, with that win, you guys are now tied for first again, and next week you play both TSM and CLG, who is sharing first place with you. So how are you going to prepare for your games next week?
现在我们是排在第1名，然后下个礼拜我们要面对 TSM 和 CLG， 然后你打算怎样去应对就是下个礼拜的对手呢？
我要用英语。
He's going to answer in English.
We solo now go back gaming house, hold number 1, and keep going to scrims and counter scrims. So we are not really number 1. We are not king. We just a lucky one. So we really need to hold this, and I don't want to lose every game because you are high now, and you down, you will feel so bad. So
absolutely. Well, hopefully
you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand. I know what you mean in terms of wanting to stay up there where you are and have that good feeling of being at the top of the ladder.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for the interview. Thank you, Sharon, for helping us out.
Thank you.
And best of luck to you guys in your scrims and your games next week. Now we're going to send it back up to Riv and Kobe to close out the day.
Thank you very much, Dash. And there are now only 3 weeks left of the summer split. So let's see how the teams are situated in the standings. And first, it's Counter Logic Gaming and LMQ.
In second, it's a tie for 4th with Cloud9 and Dignitas. Then in 6th, it's Team Curse.
And Complexity are in 7th with Evil Geniuses sitting in 8th place. The standings tell half of the story, but we want to break down some of the big playmakers this week with our OP5. First, it's Ackerman. He pulled out a sneaky trick to deal with a 2v1 hide in the bush. It was effective as it was simple.
OP in the jungle is Kez. In an 80-minute match, he had 100% kill participation. He added his voice to the in-game calls, and it really has helped Complexity turn around their split.
That's right. Moving down one into the mid lane, it's XiaoWeiXiao. He's a solid performer, and LMQ ends the week 2-0, tied for first place.
Next up is Double Lift. He is the AD carry to take control of the late game and shred his way through teams, racking up 17 kills for the week.
Not too shabby. This week's support is Afromu. He's incredibly well-rounded and can play every support champion the way they need to be played to get wins. But one man stole the spotlight and is our Week 8 MVP from Counter Logic Gaming, it's Double Lift.
He is the definition of an AD carry. He is starting to look very comfortable on the new AD carry changes.
Yeah.
And he had a great game on Kog'Maw as well as on Lucian. His commanding performance helped lead his team to a 2-0 week, and they are once again tied for first place.
I guess everybody else is trash. So the European LCS will be back next week, starting off with an all-new and always informative LCS preview show. Then the games get underway with Super Hot Crew facing off against Roccat.
Followed by Gambit versus the #1 Alliance. Then the European Challenger Series launches a best-of-3 quarterfinal showdown with Forever Zenzig, and SK Prime.
That's right. And on Saturday, the entire North American gang will be hitting the net with 8 more matches, starting with Curse versus Dignitas. After that, Evil Geniuses face off against CLG.
And TSM will battle it out with LMQ, then stick around for the North American Challenger Series. They are going to have another quarterfinal.
Yep.
And that match is going to be between Curse Academy and Wasabi Gaming.
That's right. And as we pass the baton to Freak and Zyrene for the North American Challenger Series, let's take a quick look back at a few of our favorite moments from the day so far. Was takes a full ultimate coming in. Triple. And he's able to get himself out for Poe Bouncer. A good hit. He uses the wild growth, but there's way too much EG on the fight right now. The quadra kill coming in for Alltech.
High five. Good job, dude. Need some chicken up in here. In this dizzle. Frizzle my mizzle like the salt on the frizzle. Frizzle? Frizzle? I thought it was shizzle.
But you can only perfectly play 4 members so long. Wait, he levels, but he gets stuck right at the end there.
No, we can't reach if we're trying.
Have you guys considered going to American Idol and dropping out of League?
The cavalry has arrived for Team Solo Mid. They're about to instill some true Bay life on this game. Looking for the Nexus. The 1v1. The last shot for Turtle.
One last thing. Hey, Westrice.
What?
Happy birthday to you.
So far into the Shockwave! Shockwave on to Bubbadub. He was the only one that got hit there. He goes down though. LMQ is trying to turn things around and they just put the eye